Erase that blob.
Oh, you caught me. I'm in the hallways of Harvard and working on a very complex math problem. Oh, I must be very smart.
You need therapy from Robin Williams.
Yeah, but I'm gonna reject him at first and be mean to him about his passed away wife.
Those are your defenses from your rough childhood.
Right, but it's not my fault.
It's not your fault. Hey, it's not your fault.
Stop it.
Don't you know?
Stop it.
That it's not your fault.
Stop. Oh!
Do you get it now?
Yes, all my problems are fixed.
That's all that it takes.
Then you make a movie about it. That was actually their relationship in real life at the time.
No way.
Oh no.
You know, I didn't realize that it was about a guy named Will Hunting. I thought it was like, hey, you're gonna go hunting? Here's Goodwill. I didn't know. I just didn't know.
You just didn't know. It's not your fault.
There is no way for me to know. Don't you see that?
I see that. I also see that every time you exhale, the breath goes out the eyeball holes of that mask and fogs up your glasses.
Well,
I really hope they can see it, but unlikely.
That's how lions work.
Oh, they breathe out of their eye holes?
Yeah, did you not know that?
I didn't know that, but it's not my fault.
What do you think about the two of us doing a sick dance break?
I feel pretty good. 1, 2, 3, go!
You've got to do better than that, Mr. Levi. Are you okay?
I'm okay, but my marker's not.
You're ruining the dance break. 7:30 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
1, 2, 3, let's go. Okay. All right, okay. SAT cram session.
It's the SAT tomorrow, isn't it?
Yes.
It was already the ACT. But now the SAT is
Yes.
tomorrow. Okay.
They do them both.
They.
And by they, I
There's
mean us. You
society.
and I do it.
Yeah. That thing red? What is that? Anyway, there was like a red kind of.
Oh, no, there wasn't. No, there
Oh,
wasn't.
I take that back completely. All right. Okay.
I'm going to post on Reddit.
I'm going to Discord people.
Discord everybody, dude.
No, just specific people. Stay right here. You're doing great.
Hello. Everybody's watching, right? Everybody's watching? Watch me post on Reddit about what you're watching, if you are. Which you're probably not, which is fine. Reddit r SAT. And then we're going to go to post. And then we're going to copy and paste it. We're going to create a post. Let's do a little bit of a link here. Bam. Let's go here and do the channel. Oh, shush. Okay. Wow, that is a great late lag time.
Thank you.
Would you stop it?
No.
Alright, here's the URL.
Levi, did I ever give you like a blue binder?
Did you give me one?
Yeah.
No. Didn't I give you one? I don't know what you're talking about.
What? Okay.
What color is it?
Thank you.
It's not in there. What size are you talking about?
What size?
Like how big are the rings?
It was not this big. That's fine.
I don't think so. Okay, if you're watching, you should ask questions. Or say hi. Either way. At least say hi so we know that who we're talking to. To whom we speak. Ask your questions. And we'll
Answer them.
answer them.
Everyone, big time stream tonight. Cram session. It's always fun to send out all of our updates and alerts while we're already on.
I mean, here's the thing. Nobody's paying us. So this is when we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were just getting paid. So that's good.
I was.
Yeah.
Big time.
You were getting paid as you go.
Yeah, he was just throwing dollars at me.
Yeah, basically every couple of minutes a student hands us money.
We have a couple of people watching.
Yeah, it's a whole couple.
It's a whole couple.
I think that Reddit failed me here and
Aw.
deleted my post immediately, or just never posted it.
Why?
Oh, that's better. No, it didn't. Okay, it's good.
Should I like it?
I don't know. If you like the post, you should like it. I'm not
Shut
going
up.
to tell you to like it.
Shut up.
Okay.
Are we sure there's...
This is a Microsoft Surface. We're not supported by them, but I use it, and it's fantastic. I really like it. This one, not in particular, but I'm going to get a different one.
Upvote. Well done.
Thanks. I've
You're
always
welcome.
wanted an upvote.
Yeah, hey, it's on the house, big guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next one you're going to have to pay for, though.
You're going to put it on the company card?
Company card today.com
For taxes.
for taxes. Love taxes.
Everybody loves taxes.
Everybody's getting some.
Did I do this the wrong way? It's not what I wanted.
What did you want?
Not this. I'm going to delete this. immediately.
Well, I liked it.
It's okay.
This is a waste.
Nobody's watching. It's fine.
I'm watching.
No.
Besides, people watch this after we're done
I
recording.
don't know what I just did. I marked it as a spoiler. That's not at all what I meant to do.
Spoiler.
Oh, jeez.
Create post.
Just checking my
Doing
email.
this.
You're doing great. I realize I've got my
Oh no, that is exactly what I wanted to do. Damn
lack
it.
of hat here, and I need to do something with
Dude,
this.
you gotta get your lack of hat.
Well, yeah.
Does anybody have questions? Nobody has questions. Okay. Is it just me watching our video? Totally possible.
Should we just shut it down?
Probably. Why don't we shut down the SAT for tomorrow? Oh, well, just a second. Okay. I'm happy to go over whatever you guys want. I may just start talking about stuff, but I'm also, you know what, I'm going to look at the SAT and see if anybody's been putting questions up that can be answered. I wonder how old this page is. There's our post, that's nice. Need an explanation for 7, 9, and 14. Okay, we got that covered. All right, so we have something like, I'm going to change these numbers just because I don't know where this is from. So if we have something like this, okay, there are a couple things going on here. This is a fraction issue, you know, simplifying fractions, and then how to deal with that when you have exponents. So since this is all multiplication, we can do stuff kind of in any order we want. So I'm going to deal with the 4 and the 8 first. This is like saying you have 4/8. You know that to simplify 4/8, you can get to 1/2. So that's what we're going to do. So that'll be 1/2. And I don't really need the 1 here, but whatever, because we'll have other stuff. Now, m to the 8th and m to the 5th. This is, oh my gosh, this is an exponent rule, and it's called Quotient Rule. Or let's just make it generalized. X to the a over x to the b equals x to the a minus b power. If you want me to go through all of the exponent rules, I'm happy to. So in this case, m to the 8th power over m to the 5th power will be m to the 3rd power, and it stays on top. Basically, when you have that, it just becomes that. You could say this is over 1. It doesn't really matter. But it's going to be m to the 3rd power because this is 8. M to the 8 over m to the 5th equals... you know what? I don't know. Yeah, nobody's commented, so yes, it's fine. Can you go onto the SAT Discord and post our link to this question I'm doing right now?
Sure.
I'm refreshing the restream thing, but I think it's working. This garbage here that I've managed to ruin, I'm going to fix it, actually. This little piece here, m to the 8th over m to the 5th, will be m to the 8 minus 5 power, which is m cubed. So this, if we're going to finally write it, will be m cubed over 2.
I think somebody just sent something.
Now, this is very much Imperium. Hello. How are you? Please ask me or us any questions you have. Just it can be math, it can be English, it can be writing, it can be whatever you want it to be, as long as it's about the test. It can be about nerves. It can be about what type of calculator program. You can download a calculator program that we have linked below, or it's in our Discord or something. But just ask questions. Brady, are you linking right now?
Yes.
Okay. You see the question I'm answering?
Yes.
Cool. I changed, pretty obviously I changed one of the questions you asked because I didn't want to do exactly the one you had, but you can clearly generalize this pretty easily. You also had a question on number 9, so I can do that unless did we get a question in our Discord? Is that what you're saying, Bird?
No, somebody texted us on our chat.
Oh yeah, sure. Imperium, you said test. Oh, are you testing something? Is that what you're saying? Like, this is a test as you type it out?
Yes.
The test has succeeded. There we go. I should have maybe picked up on that.
It's okay, I didn't know.
But maybe not. I certainly didn't know. Yeah. Also, if you have a YouTube account and you're more comfortable commenting on YouTube videos or writing in the chat on YouTube video, you can go to our YouTube. It's nerdish. The same thing as on Twitch. I just only linked one of them. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's do another one of these. Number 9. Okay, yeah. Number 9 is kind of the same situation here. Whoever posted this. Moana. Hi, Moana. Moana, are you Imperium? Probably not. You got here a little too fast. What is x? Okay, interesting. That's a good question. So we will do some exponent stuff. It depends on where the exponents are. So by that I mean if we have x squared cubed, that's something, and it's different from something like x squared cubed. Order of operations tells you have to do exponents first and smaller things first. So now parentheses goes first, right? Parentheses exponents. So first we have to do x squared to the third. This is the same thing. This is basically going to be x to the 2 times 3 power, which is x to the 6th. This is different from that. This, you're going to be doing exponents first. So 2 cubed has to happen before you do x squared. So this will be basically 2 to the 3rd power, which is 8. So you have x to the 8th. So that's what you get there. Now, it's different from x squared times x cubed. When you have the bases multiplied together like this, you add the exponents, and you get x to the 2 plus 3 power, which is x to the 5th. Of course, when you're actually doing this on the test, you don't have to write, this intermediate step out. You can just go to because you know how to do addition and multiplication at this level. Do you have follow-up questions on this? I can do more examples. I was actually about to do another example. A braingasm, huh? Wow, that's good. I've never heard of that. But it sounds positive, and it sounds like it will help you enormously on the test tomorrow. Are you taking the test tomorrow? I will give you another little thing here, which is fun. The reason for this is because you have x squared, which is x times x, right? By definition, x squared is x times x. So you have x times x, and you have 3 of those, right? Because you have x times x, and you're cubing it, so you have that thing times itself 3 times. X times x times x times x times x times x is x to the 6th. Whereas here, you have x squared, which is x times x, times x cubed, which is x times x times x, which would be x to the 5th. That's why that happens. I just like learning, already took tests, I'm in college, it's nice to look back. Yeah, dude, look back, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to get back into high school, so I figure if I teach high schoolers, I would just sort of backtrack that way, if that kind of makes sense. It doesn't, because it's stupid. Do you have any other questions, though? I'm going to do this, number 8.
Do it.
Or, sorry, not number 8, number 9. Okay, so let's say you have x's and y's, I guess, if that's what you enjoy doing, and you have cubed up here, and you have, let's say, x to the, 4th down here. Meme, hey, what's up? Ask questions, Meme. Are you taking the test? I do sort of have it in my head that you take the SAT, Meme, not the ACT. You just see it's a Meme is more of an SAT name in my head. Let's say y to the second. Testing in 4 hours. Jeez, Meme, why are you awake? You're an animal. You're a meme. Okay. This guy right here is going to be the same situation. I don't know why I deleted that other thing before. But we're going to do quotient rule again. We have...
Again?
So quotient rule is x to the a... Pretty ugly, whatever, it's not bad. X to the a over x to the b. That equals x to the a minus b. So that's our rule that we're going to reference here. X's and y's don't really interact. We're kind of just separating them, but it's all multiplication, so we're allowed to do whatever we want. So here, the x's are going to be x. Now this is to the first power, so I'm going to write that in there, and now that kind of doesn't show up super well because that's dotted lines around it, so that's stupid. X to the first over x to the fourth. That will be x to the 1 minus 4. And then we have the y's. The y's will be y to the third over y squared, which is y to the 3 minus 2. So this, in turn, will equal x to the negative 3 times y to the first. Now, negative exponents. I'm going to write this as another rule here. You may or may not know this. If you don't, then we should do more practice on it. Yeah, computerized testing is, I've heard bad things. X to the negative a power equals 1 over x to the a. So you always just take it and you flip it. Now by extension, 1 over x to the a power, 1 over x to the negative a power equals x to the a over 1. So basically anytime you have a negative exponent, you just put it on the other side, the flip side of the fraction. So in this case, we have x to the negative 3, so that will go on the bottom. We end up with y over x cubed. Now that's not the exact answer to your question because your question was slightly different, but all the concepts are there. I like exponent rules. I think they're fun. Meme, have you slept, or are you sort of you've slept and now you've woken up and now you have the test in 4 hours? Oh, you're taking bio math 1 and 2. You're taking math 1 and math 2? How are you doing on math 2? I'm going to do this last one, unless there may be something else on the SAT Discord, or Reddit. Do you remember what that is? So that'll be fine. Okay. Let's do this. Boss Dad. Hi, Boss Dad.
Is that your dad?
I don't know. Are you my dad or my boss? Both instill fear in me, but I'm not afraid of you because it cancels out with your name. Do you have questions? Are you a dad? Do you have a child of SAT taking age? Or a father? I guess, yeah, you still have a father. Of SAT taking age? Boss, grandpa? Bird. Why don't you come up here? Show your face. How do you feel about that? Is your face okay?
I don't really feel like it.
That makes sense. Both, I guess. So everybody can take the SAT in your family? That's good. I mean, everybody should be taking the SAT. That's what holds families together nowadays. I don't talk about it much because it's not true, but I could do it.
You deserve to be slapped in the slap zone.
In my slap zone?
Yeah.
My slap zone is kind of sore.
Really?
Yeah, because you slapped me. You slapped me at the Halloween party last night. You remember?
What did you say that made me slap you?
I don't know if it was at the party, but at some point, oh no, it was on the train back from the party.
Mm-hmm.
I was speaking to some dressed up train dweller, and you slapped me.
Well, whatever you did, I'm sure it was well deserved.
Yeah. Boss dad or boss son or any of the family members there, do you have any questions? Because we can answer them.
Yeah,
You
that's
do it
what
on
this
here.
is for.
There are links to the tests down below for SAT specifically. You can click on any of those, find a question you have trouble with, and ask us, and we will go through and answer it.
Ask and ye
Explain.
shall receive.
Yes. Don't ask, and you shall receive other things.
Yes. Like a light slap on the wrist.
Okay, the last one for...
No.
I'll just do this one. You want to do the number 7?
I do.
Here?
I do. All right. I would like this. May I have this?
You may have it.
Thank you.
I'll draw you a photo.
A photo.
Yeah.
The fact that you're drawing me a photo means that it's not a photo. My definition of photo is correct. I gotta say, this is pretty nice. Oh, you get the dotted lines in there, that's good. Otherwise I wouldn't know it's back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is nice. I like this. I like this a lot. All right, here's the question. The volume is, we're going to say 24x. I'm not taking the SAT test. Boss Dad's not taking the SAT test.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez. The volume is, you know what? Here we go. This is what we're going to say. Volume is 24a. And the side lengths, the dimensions of this rectangular prism are A, B, and C. And the question is, what is the greatest possible value of C? So greatest possible, and these are also integers. Integers A, B, and C. What is the greatest possible value of C? All right. So, in order to get the volume of a rectangular prism, you have to multiply all the dimensions together, A times B times C. Okay, so the volume is equal to A times B times C. If you look at the volume that they gave us, A is already in there. So A is represented in both of these things, which makes sense. A is built into the volume. I'm just going to make this A, this will be B, and that'll be C. Those are our 3 dimensions. C is the height right there. Okay? Which means that 24 has to be the B and C component. They make up that 24. And they are integers, meaning that they are whole numbers. So you need to have 2 numbers that multiply to make 24 for this to be correct. So B and C have to multiply together to make 24. What is the greatest possible value of C? Well, let's think about the ways that 24 can be created. 24 factor pairs. 1 by 24, 2 by 12, 3 by 8, 4 by 6, not 5s, and then you get to 6 times 4 and, you know, all that stuff. So those are possible pairs of B's and C's, and, you know, either one can be B, either one can be C. The greatest possible value of C is simply the greatest number that is on this list, which is 24 itself. C could be 24, so this is going to be 24. B could be 1, which means that your volume would be 24 times 1 times A, which gives you the 24A. The greatest possible. Would you help me with the constant curve values and hyperbolic coordinates? Levi, isn't that more your speed?
Oh, it sounds like my speed.
Constant value curves and hyperbolic coordinates?
It's not our speed because we're only streaming for the SAT right now. Those are not on the SAT.
Yeah, they're not. I honestly did not even realize that there were hyperbolic coordinates. Is that embarrassing?
For them, I guess. For hyperbolic coordinates, I would be embarrassed.
Sorry, Tao Mu New. Tao Mu New. Tao Mu New.
That's good. Keep doing that.
Tao Mu New.
Stop. I was being sarcastic.
Oh.
I got excited.
I'm gonna slap you in your slap zone.
Don't slap me in the slap zone.
Right into the slap zone.
Do you have any other questions, Tamu Nu?
Right, slap me in my slap zone. Anyway, it's the beginning of that movie Slap Gun or Top Slap.
What about general question about transformation between coordinate systems?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Show it to us. What do you got?
Yeah.
Is this just algebra? No. Geometry, algebra 2. And if you know a little bit of pre-calc, it's not going to hurt. What, man? That's how I talk now.
I know that.
That's just how I talk. Tamu and you. If you sign up on our Discord below, you can send us a picture of a question, or if you can somehow write out the question on there to an extent that we'd understand, then you could also do that.
Or you could put it on Reddit if that's where you just came from, which is most likely, and then just, mention us. If I sign up for a Discord, like there's no sign up, you just, make a Discord account. It's free. It's fun. And it's
Flirty.
Yeah, it is.
Sign up for Discord.
You don't think we do
account.
the SAT in Australia? That is correct, sir.
Where is the Discord tab here? Do you have it open?
No.
Levi.
Do you? No, the SAT is strictly for American universities. I don't think any other universities in the world care at all. So it's mainly U.S. high school students, and then international students who want to come to the U.S. for university. They'll take it. But otherwise, no.
Alan
it's
sent
useless.
us a question earlier today.
Did he?
Have you done Alan's question?
No. Did you?
Oh my god.
What? Here, let me just draw it. All right. How do you feel about that?
Point P less than hypotenuse, always the length of segment P.
Bum, 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 bum. This is
Bum,
not supposed to be whatever it is.
Oh, you can do better than that. Really?
It's perfect.
No, it is not.
Everything is bendy. Ugh.
Yes.
I hate no. We're redoing.
When triangles get that big, they get bendy.
That's true. All right, that's
Fine.
a little better.
Fine.
Oof.
Fine. A. Why would there be a P in here? That's ridiculous. C. 30. 40. We want the length of line segment PB.
This is also a right angle. This is B up
You
here.
wish.
You
Yeah.
fish.
So how long is that side length? Bird, can you do this or can you not do this?
How long has this been? Hey.
Good, you got this, yeah?
No, wait, this is from an SAT.
Hmm?
Is this from an SAT?
Hmm.
Should we be careful here?
It's fine.
Why is it fine?
You can just change the numbers if you want.
Well, but why didn't you change the numbers?
I thought you did.
Jesus. All right, this is gonna be 80.
Whoa.
This is gonna be 60. Woo. And actually, this is gonna be 8 and 6. Let's just make it that easy. All right, the length of PB. Very interesting.
Chemist,
very
what's up?
interesting. Okay.
Say hi to Chemist.
Hello, chemist. Hello, chemist. Good evening. Good evening to you, sir. One thing I know that I know I can make here is the hypotenuse. I can find what that is. This is going to be a hypotenuse of 10. You might be wondering, how did I know that so quickly? Well, this triangle here, 6 and 8, is a multiple of a 3, 4, 5 triangle. It's a right triangle, and both of these side lengths are double the 3 and 4 of a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So 3, 4, 5. So the 3, 4, 5 triangle, that ratio of 3 to 4 to 5 can be larger multiples of 3, 4, and 5 as long as they're all in the same ratio. So this is a scale factor of 2 bumped up from 3, 4, and 5. So this whole thing here is going to be 10. Okay, very good. So this thing here we're going to call x. That's what we're trying to find. And so this part here we're going to call 10 minus x. 10 minus x. Okay, so one thing that I like to do is figure out the area of a triangle one way, and then figure it out another way such that I could find the height. So like, let me explain. Triangle is half base times height. So looking at this thing right now, we have a base of 8 and a height of 6. Fantastic. As long as your base and your height are perpendicular to each other, you can use them. So this and this are perpendicular. We had a right angle right here. Fantastic. If you turned your head so that this is your new base, so this is, you kind of flip this thing, whoa, right here. You flatten it out. This is your new base. This line here is your height. That's your height, because these are perpendicular right here. So half this base times that height will also get you the area of this triangle. And because the area of the triangle is just itself, you're going to get the area, the same number in both cases. So the area of this triangle is going to be 1/2 8 times 6, which is going to be 4 times 6, which is going to be 24, okay? Now I should be able to get that same area, I'm going to call this height, if I use my other base and height. So 1/2 10 times height, and I should get 24 from that. So this is 5h is equal to 24, which means that h is equal to 24 over 5, which is 4.8. 4.8, so then 4 and then 4/5, 4.8. So I can say that this is 4.8. Now I just have to use Pythagorean theorem one more time to find this missing side length because we have a right triangle here. There are other ways to do this problem. One of the ways you're going to see a lot is finding similar triangles, because we have, let's see, 1, 2, there are 3 triangles to look at here. There's this one, which is a right triangle. There's this one, which is a right triangle. And then there's this one, which is a right triangle. And funnily enough, they are all similar to each other. They all have a right angle right here, or right there and right there. If you just look at this triangle here, this has its right angle, and this angle here is also shared by the entire triangle. So if you've proven that both this triangle here and the whole triangle have both a right angle and they share this angle B, then the other angle that they have must also be the same, which is going to be this one here and this one there. So those are also going to be the same. Using similar logic, you're going to eventually get that there are 3 similar triangles here, and you could use ratios and proportions to find missing side lengths. I chose a slightly different route. Next Tuesday, I will ask questions during stream. Right now, I can't post questions because I only have a phone that I can use, no internet, just with 4G LTE. That sounds totally fine. Totally fine. You post questions when you can. We will answer them immediately. Immediately.
Sometimes before you ask them.
Sometimes before you even ask them. We're that good. All right, so just to finish up the way that I was going to do this. Pythagorean theorem. We have 4.8 squared plus x squared is equal to 6 squared. So x squared will be the square root, or x by itself, be the square root of 36 minus 4.8 squared, which should be somewhere near 25, 15, 64, that's 432, 38. Gonna put that 0 there, it's your placeholder. 4 times 8 is 32, 3 is 16, 17, 18, 19. So we get 4, a little bit of a 0, 13, and then we get 2, 23.04. Minus 23.04. 36 minus 23, and then a little bit more than that is going to be 12.96, I'm pretty sure. 12.96. So x is the square root of 12.96. Levi, can you give me... Well, actually, I have my phone right here. I will simply use my phone. His phones today have calculators on them. Okay, 12.96. So square root is 3.6. X is 3.6. That's pretty nice. It's a nice number. It's a magic number. The way that you could do this with similar triangles, let's see. That would be another interesting thing. The hypotenuse you can find in either situation. That's one thing that you should do right off the bat. You can find some kind of a side length just by using Pythagorean theorem with what you've been given. Just do it. Kind of a general note about geometry problems is you have like a starting point, which is the stuff that they've given you, and then there's an ending point. You might not see how to get to the ending point to start with, but if you can just start taking bites out of it and saying, well, I don't know how to get there, but I know that this angle is going to be this, because I know that 180 is a triangle, and I know that I can do Pythagorean theorem with this. Pretty soon you start putting these pieces together, and a picture will emerge, and you will suddenly see how you could get to your answer. So don't freak out. Just start with what you know and get as far as you can without even thinking where it's supposed to go, and then look back up again, take a deep breath, and see if there's the light at the end of the tunnel, because then you got it. All right, so just a quick little proportion thing. So this angle here is going to be the same as, they both share that. Okay, which means that this angle here needs to be the same as this angle here, which means that this angle is the same as that original angle right there. Okay, so some proportions we can make here. Before that we knew that was 3.6, and before we knew that was 4.8, I guess. You could say that's 6 over x. So in this case, I'm doing 6 over x, which is the hypotenuse over the side length between the right angle and the single hash marked angle, is going to be equal to, if I look at the big triangle, the hypotenuse of the big triangle is 10, and then the side length between the right angle and the single one here on the large triangle would be this, and that would be 6. So actually, oh yeah, that's even faster. 6 times 6 is 36, is equal to 10x. So x is just going to be 3.6, that's a heck of a lot faster than the way I did it. LOL, I suck at geometry. No, you don't. You don't. No, you don't. Hey, Slayer Darth. It's going well. It's good to see you. Or just see the word Slayer Darth on the screen. Isn't that exterior? But what is its exact name? Name of the angle with 1 dash is. Oh, Rudy, I have something really funny to show you once you're done with this task. Oh yeah, Slayer Darth? Well, I have something very funny for you to show me when I'm done with this task. So, touche. Hey, Darkness, you're going to be fine. Are you taking the test tomorrow? You can get better. You don't suck at geometry. Okay, chemist, you might be thinking about interior versus exterior angles of a shape, or maybe of two parallel lines. So these are not exterior angles. Here's an exterior angle. So if I draw a triangle, that's the interior angle. This is the exterior angle here. Or if I draw, the Cook County State Attorney's Office has appointed an emotional support dog for one of their courthouses. Really? B and C, same angles. Oh, those are congruent. Yeah, if they're congruent, if they're the same measure, then they're congruent. And if two triangles have the same set of 3 angles that are congruent, those triangles are similar. If the triangles also have the same as the shape in the stream. In the shape of the stream. In the shape in the stream. Here is the picture from her swearing-in ceremony. Oh, jeez. In the shape of in the stream. Yeah, wait, chemist. Does that answer your question? The angles are congruent? Okay. Let me look at this picture, Slayer Darth. Oh my gosh. There's a dog with its paw on the book. That's wild. What are they doing over there? That's adorable. That's adorable. I have nothing against that. That's just a lot of fun. It's family friendly. It's a great way to stay in shape. I'm all over that. Big fan of that. So this is, 2 steps. What I did took a while, and it involved Pythagorean theorem as well. I only had to do one Pythagorean theorem, which was the 10 at the very beginning. So you can see that, multiple entry points. Yeah, there's one more geo problem I couldn't solve on this practice. I'll post it on Discord soon. Yes, please do. I mean B and C with the ones with 1 dash. Yeah, these two angles. These two angles are congruent. I proved that because there are two triangles that I'm looking at right now. There's PBC, that's one of the triangles, and then there's ABC, and that's the other triangle that I care about. Both of those triangles, I'll give you an example. Let's say that you had two triangles. That is not a great marker at all. Yeah, they're going to look a little bit different. They're going to look different. All right, I have 63 right here, and I have 14 right here. And let's say over here I have 14, and I have 63. Okay, because triangles have to add up to 180, there's only one angle measure that this could be, which would be, okay, so that would be 77, so 103. 103. Both of these angles have to be 103, which means these are similar triangles because all the angles are the same, okay? So that means that if you can prove that two triangles have at least two congruent angles, you will have proven that the third angle will also have to be the same. So I proved that B and C are congruent to each other because I noticed that both the big triangle and PBC, they both have a right angle, and they both share this angle right here, B. If they both have a right angle and B, they must be congruent, which means their third angles have to match. For this triangle, the third angle is here. For this whole triangle, the third angle is here. So these two have to be the same, and those two have to be the same.
If you're watching this and your name on Reddit is RapidXC, can you just send me a message on Reddit that you're on Twitch or on YouTube or something? Because then I can answer one of your questions on Reddit. Are you done with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Slayer Darth, brushing up a little bit on your slope intercept form, I hear. I like that.
Who told you that?
Slayer Darth did.
Oh, that makes sense.
You know why?
Why?
Slayer Darth's my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Slayer Darth's not your friend.
No.
I claimed Slayer Darth as my friend.
Right.
I took my flag and I shoved it into the land that is Slayer Darth's
Land. Got it.
Yes. So now
That makes sense.
It/he belongs to me.
That's a dangerous sentence, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I navigated it well.
Yes.
I like to think that at least. Ha!
Dude, I was making that noise.
No, you weren't. There's
At
no
first
record.
I understood you did $20 an hour. Yes. It is okay. That's entirely Brady's fault. And then he, you know.
There was a.
Brady's apologizing right now. He's about to. Watch.
Should we have this on the stream?
Just say sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry, there was a miscommunication. I didn't say it very clearly.
Chemist, why are you staying up that late? You're a ridiculous chemist. Chemists don't stay up that late.
Yeah, chemist, you shouldn't stay up that late. It wasn't a typo. I was on the phone and it just didn't come across that clearly. So I apologize for the miscommunication. It was not my intention.
Can you intentionally miscommunicate? Or is that just...
Well, I guess you could throw someone off, like, intentionally.
Yeah. I'm going to do this other question, which is something along the lines of, let's just say x minus, let's say, let's say this. And the question is, you know, what is a solution for x? RapidXC, if you're watching, this is for you. If you're not, it's still for you and for everybody else, which it was before anyway. Okay, there are a couple ways about this problem. Now, I changed it from the one you asked because the one you asked, you should probably take down. Just giving you a heads up. There's a different question, but it deals with the same concepts. So, how are we going to solve for x when we have a radical? This is one of the stumbling blocks when you're trying to solve for a variable, is when you have a radical. How do you get rid of it? To get rid of radicals, do not multiply generally by that radical when you have other terms in the situation, because then you're going to, if you multiply by radical x on both sides here, you're going to get x rad x minus 2x plus 4 rad x, which is horrifying. So don't do that. What you need to do is isolate your radical x. Get that alone and then square everything. There's a faster way to do this, which is just guessing and checking. You could also graph this. I don't know if this is on the calculator section or not. If it is, graph it, because then you can see where your zeros are. You know, y equals this whole thing, because then when you set y equal to 0, you get your x-intercepts. That's the whole point. If you don't know what I just said there, please ask, because that is extremely important. So we're going to isolate radical x. Let's subtract x. Let's subtract 4. What is that going to be? Chemist. Oh, lol, I don't only do school, but also have other way of living. School, driving, and job, one way of my life, and the other way is me doing things to give me euphoria, but not with... Got it, chemist. You see this? Crazy. All right, so we have negative 2 radical x equals negative x minus 4. Then let's divide by negative 2 on both sides. We get radical x equals x over 2 plus 2. Now we're here. Now we can square both sides. So square that, x equals, you can't just distribute this, you have to FOIL. So we'll get 1/4 x squared, and then we'll get whatever this is, so, oh, that's not bad, 2x, and then we'll get 4. Pretty confident that's correct. So now we have this situation, and now this look, RapidXC, hello, you have a doubt. What's your doubt? Did you see what I just did here? Were you following here, or did you just make an account or just get here and you didn't see me work through this? Because I can just, oh, you have an account? Is that what you meant? And it just auto-corrected? You get this part. Great. Okay, so now from here, we're going to subtract x from both sides. We get 0, which is where we want it to be in the first place, equals 1/4 x plus x, sorry, x squared, plus x plus 4. Now, this is pretty ugly. Obviously, this is not exactly the same thing. Oh my gosh. Chemist, stop. That's not what the stream is about. All right, so here, you could factor it the normal way. I would actually multiply. I would recommend multiplying by 4 just to get the leading coefficient to be 1, so life is a little bit easier. So we get 0 equals, let's just multiply this side by 4, multiply this whole thing by 4. That's a 4. I swear. X squared plus 4x plus 16. Well, that doesn't make any sense. I thought I made this the right way. It did. Didn't I? No, I didn't. Idiot. Okay. Yes, stop and I won't tell your mom. Good. Okay, so then from here you would solve. Now this is unsolvable because I screwed up this equation up top and it's not going to work. Is this where you have trouble? RapidXC or RapidXCD or Rapix? I'll call you Rapix. Rapix, do you want me to go through this? Here there are actually no solutions in the equation I made up. And the one you had, you would be able to solve this and factor and get a nice answer. I'm sorry. If you say yup, I've asked like 3 questions in a row and immediately forgotten them, so just tell me what you want me to do, because I don't know what you're saying, because I'm not paying enough attention to the things I say. Sorry. So what would you like? You happy? Don't just say yes or no. Tell me what to do, and I will do that thing. Bird.
Yes.
What you doing over there?
Oh, perusing.
Perusing, huh?
Yeah.
Is it x squared because of the negative exponent rule? Where? Could you replace 4 with negative 3? I could, but then it would be identical to the question you asked. So, no? because I don't want to get into copyright things. We've had copyright issues before, so I don't want to do that. I can change that to a number that would actually make it work, but I'm not going to change it to anything that might get us in trouble. So x minus 2 radical x. When do you have x squared inside the radical symbol? Oh, here is okay. So all I was doing here was I think this is what you're asking about. Oh, you got it. Cool. Okay, so Slayer, we had radical x, and then to get rid of the radical, I added the squares to both sides. Like I squared both sides. That was just to get to the next line. That wasn't there originally. So this does not cause this to look this way. It's just these cancel out. We get radical x, and then I was squaring to get rid of it. Lovely. Okay, Rapix, do you have any other questions? I think you might be the only one here who's taking the SAT tomorrow, and that's what this stream is for. So do you have other things? It doesn't have to only be math. If math is where you want to focus, cool. But if not, then we can do other stuff. Anything you want. It can be English. It can be, other things, calculator programs, Brady's entire life story up into this point.
Don't get me started. At the end of the story, I'll start talking about how I'm currently telling the story of my life.
I hate that idea, Brady. Chemist. So funny. Okay. See you, chemist. I'm reviewing slope-intercept for negative, which I have not covered for some time. Confused by that dash there. I really don't get how to frame word problems effectively. Form. I see what you're saying, Slayer. You're reviewing slope-intercept form, which you have not covered in some time. Yeah. We can do a problem if you have a question on something that's a little confusing. So framing word problems. Okay, so Pi Darkness, you're taking. Oh, you are. Okay, Pi. So ask us more questions. That's what you got to do. You got to do it. You have to. Rapix. There are tests that we have linked down below that are okay for us to put up on the screen. I don't know if you've seen us put things up on the screen. When we do, it looks like, it'll look like something like this. And, we put that up on the screen, and then we can do that. So go down below in our panels in Twitch. Just click any of those links to past SATs or their official practice SATs. And we can do any question you have in there, and we can pull it up on the screen and go into it. So that's what I recommend, and we can talk about how to frame word problems. And it'll be awesome. Brady.
Yeah.
I'm very thirsty.
You want me to
Did
take
you
over
get
some
my
drinks?
Yeah. And then Pi, when you get questions or Rapix, you can just tell us the test number and question number and section whatever in whatever tests down below if you're looking at those, and then we will do that. Pi, you don't see those panel links down below because you're on YouTube, but if you go to Twitch you can see them, or you can just Google SAT practice test 5 and it'll give you practice test 5 and you can look at that.
Have we done the other Alan question?
I have not.
Is Alan here?
No.
Alan, are you watching? Alan posted a question like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, did he?
Here's something similar to this one. On a 210-mile trip, Cameron drove at an average speed of 60 miles per hour for the first X hours. He then completed the trip driving at an average speed of 50 miles per hour for the remaining Y hours. If X equals 1, what is the value of Y? Got it. Okay. Oh, we can absolutely, not only can we do something similar to that one, but we can do that one. And for a special reason, my middle name is Cameron, so this really reminds me of myself. I'm thinking of streaming maths with programming on my programming channel. Slayer Darth, if you do that, we will watch. So, just a warning. Okay, Rapix XCD. Here's the big thing. Rate is distance over time. All right, you have to make sure that everything you do in this problem somehow connects to that, okay? If you forget that equation, think about, I don't know if you're in the UK or America, but units of speed, miles per hour, all right? Miles per hour. The word per in math means divide. So this you get from taking a certain number of miles and dividing them by hours. Okay? Distance over time gives you a rate or a speed. In this case, we're doing speed. Okay, so let's see. On a 210-mile trip, Cameron drove at an average speed of 60 miles per hour for the first X hours. All right, so then there were Y hours. So he did X and Y hours, okay? So there's a certain number of total hours that he drove, and he drove a certain amount of distance for each of them. So we've got X hours. We've got X hours and we've got Y hours. And the distance that he drove together should add up to his entire trip, which is 210 miles. Okay? So if you drive at an average speed of 60 miles per hour for the first X hours, what does that let you find? Well, they're giving you a speed, which is a rate, and they're giving you a time, which is X. The thing that they're not giving you is distance. So we can solve this for distance. In terms of X, we're going to get an X on the other side. We can solve this for distance. One thing that's nice to know is, before I even start throwing things in here, let's just solve this for distance. If you want to get d by itself, you have to multiply both sides by t. So d is equal to rt, and then if I want to solve for time by itself, I would just divide both sides by r. So I would get time is equal to d over r. Not necessary to do that right now, but just something to kind of think about. All right, so for this first part of his journey, which is X hours, his rate was 60 miles per hour, and he drove some unknown amount of miles, which is going to be d, in X hours.
Number of miles.
Number of miles. So if I solve this thing for d is equal to rt, I would just multiply both sides by x. So the distance he drove is 60x. We can do something very similar for the second part. So his average speed was 50 miles an hour, and that will be equal to, we're going to call this d1, and this is going to be d2 over y. So d2 over y. If x equals 1, oh, they just told us x equals 1. All right, well, we'll figure it out in a sec. Oh, that's really actually quite easy. Okay, if x equals 1, then if we redo the sentence, he drove at an average speed of 60 miles per hour for the first 1 hours. For the first 1 hour. So that means that, he's only going to have driven 60 miles at the end of that thing. X is just 1. For 1 hour, he drove at 60 miles an hour, so we covered 60 miles. Which means he still has 150 miles left. Because in total, the two distances that he drove should add up to 210. Okay, so distance 2 is going to be equal to 50 times y. All right, I just multiplied both sides by y to get that. And the distance he still has to go is 150 miles. Okay? So basically, distance 1 plus distance 2 needs to be the whole trip, which is 210. Distance 1 is 60. So 60 plus d2 has to be equal to 210. And then if we subtract 60 from both sides, d2 is equal to 150. So d2, I'm going to substitute 150 in for that. I'm going to get 50y. And then I divide both sides by 50. And I'm going to get y is equal to 3. So he drove for 3 hours at that speed, that slower speed. I'm so stressed for tomorrow. Official's car, you gotta calm down. It's gonna be okay. Are you a senior? Are you a junior? Are you not one of those two things? How can 60 equal d by x? D divided by x? You're a junior. You got plenty of time. If it doesn't go that well tomorrow, it's okay. First off, it's going to go fine, and you can take it again. Okay, how can you see? That's a great question. Okay, because of this formula right here, rate is distance over time. Okay, just to give you an example of that, what speed are you going if you cover 200 miles in 10 hours? So you drive for 10 hours, you cover 200 miles. If you want to find your rate, you take r, that's what you're trying to solve for, is distance 200 over time, which is 10. Just going to give you 20. 20 miles per hour. I thought speed equals distance by time. No. Speed is distance divided by time. Distance over time. I'm not sure what you mean by by. Do you mean divided by, or do you mean times something? Distance, because distance by time doesn't really mean either of them. Divided by. Yeah, speed is equal to distance divided by time. I'm using r for rate, but I mean speed. Because there's other problems that aren't exactly speed, but it's a similar situation. So I use r for rate. Rate is distance divided by time. Same situation here. Distance divided by time gives you 20 miles per hour. That's your new rate. Okay, so in this case, our rate is 60. So I plug that in for r. Our distance is d1, whatever that's going to end up being, and the time that we're driving is x hours. That's where the setup comes from. Does that make sense? Rapix. Official's car, is this the first time you'll have taken it? Yes, it does. Very good. Very good. That's a great problem. That is a very good problem. The overall, like the big picture here is that he has to cover 210 miles, and there are 2 legs of his trip. He's going for 60 miles an hour for one leg of his trip. He's going to 50 miles an hour for another leg of his trip. So those 2 distances have to add up to make 210. Probably should have started that with this. Maybe I should have labeled this leg 1, leg 2. Yeah, there are some things I regret. Some things I probably could have done a better job of doing. But what are you going to do? Huh? You're going to do nothing. You're going to do absolutely nothing. Is there an even easier way of doing this, sir? Ah, sir. Okay. Okay. An easier way of doing this. I would say, okay, depends. If they have answers that you can choose from, that's one way to, possibly speed this up. But if you knew that if x equals 1, if you threw that into the earlier sentence, average speed of 60 miles an hour for 1 hour, that means he drove 60 miles. That's what that means right there. 210 miles is the whole trip. 60 miles is what he's already driven. So 150 miles he still has to go. So the question really is, if you drive at 50 miles an hour and you have to cover a distance of 150 miles, how many hours will that take you? That is the question boiled down to its most simplest. So I did a lot of steps here, and I talked about this for a while because I'm explaining it. But if you know that you have 150 miles left, time is distance over rate. That's the problem right there. Yeah, and if they didn't give you x, it would be a tough situation. Can we go through Vertex Form? Yes, we can. Yes, we absolutely can. Let's see. Alan, are you watching? Because you posted something. If you're watching, we're going to do it for you. Go. Here we go. Yay. Okay. Very good. Very good. You're going to have a pretty lonely week next week, Levi. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be gone for next week. My brother's getting married. You know what that means. I'm going to have a sister. In-law.
Yeah.
But a sister, kind of.
Well, we got Vertex Form. We should probably do that instead.
Of what? Going to my brother's wedding?
No. Look at the chat.
I know. I'm erasing the board.
Oh, I know. I thought you were doing Alan's question.
Alan's not here.
I know.
Yeah.
You said you were going to do Alan's question.
No, I did. I said if you're here, we'll do it.
Oh.
What kind of a fool do you take me for? A big one?
Really big.
Well, you're probably right in certain cases. I am a physically large human compared to other humans. Okay. Ugh,
hate when that happens. Vertex form of a parabola.
Here is the standard form of a quadratic. This marker is fresh and it's just making my day.
Ax squared, you're back, sir. Welcome back, sir. We have a place right here for you.
It's just this black nothingness.
All right, standard form of a quadratic.
The vertex, there is a formula to find the x-coordinate of a vertex. This is not vertex form yet, but this is important to know, okay? The x-coordinate of a vertex of a parabola is minus b over 2a, okay? That's how you find the x-coordinate of a vertex. Once you have that, you could just plug it in, and it'll find the y value, okay? Vertex form is a little different. It still codes for a parabola, and it still has the same beginning coefficient, a. They'd be the same. You could take any parabola equation and convert them in between to the other form. So it's not like this is a different kind of parabola than that. They're the same parabola, just it's solved for something. What? I'm not going to say your name, but why are you so adamant about us not saying your name? I'm not going to do it. I will absolutely obey your wishes. But it's just interesting, because that's not your name. What that is not. I'm sure that's not your real name. It could not be your real name.
What if it is?
Is it your real name? Halloween was very, very well. It was a well Halloween. You like that, Levi?
Well enough.
People use good as an adverb when they're not supposed to. I'm going to use well as an adjective when I'm not supposed to. Anyway, so here's the way this works. H comma K is the vertex. H comma K is the vertex. We didn't celebrate Halloween in Dubai. You're in Dubai! Oh, my cousin's in Dubai. He's living there. He's working there for a couple of years.
How is it going?
I have to talk to him. I hear it's very hot there. I hear it's extremely hot. Okay, and then A is it's your coefficient. A tells you if it opens up or down, and also if it's wide or narrow. So, let's try one. Y is equal to, I'm just going to keep A as simple as possible, which is going to be 1. X minus 4 squared plus 2. So our H, remember we're subtracting here. Our H is 4. So that means our vertex is 4. And then we add K, which in this case is 2. So our vertex is going to be at 4, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Right there. Okay. This A value is 1, which is positive. You don't celebrate Halloween in Dubai. Well, I mean, do you guys have... Is there any kind of like a similar... Is there a reason to dress up in costumes for any reason throughout the year? Ooh. Levi.
Mm-hmm.
Can you check out Official's Cars question?
Where?
It's in our Twitch chat. Official's car. I'm gonna hope we can here. But anyway, so it's gonna be going upward. I'm not gonna get the points exactly right, but it's gonna be something like that. Okay. I don't understand why it's y equals ax squared and not y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Let me pop that open. Just gonna pop it open. No, not Discord. I want Twitch.
We definitely can't pull this up on the screen.
One of those, huh?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Wait. What? How do they have this?
It's from the October test.
Like the one that just happened?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right, I'll take a look at that in just a second. Okay, how do you convert between the two? Very good question. All right, let's start with this one here. Forgot the steps. So this one here, what you're going to want to do is you need to FOIL. I don't know if you learned it as foiling, but when you take an expression like this and you square it, and you multiply it out, you expand it, is what you need to do. So I'm going to start down here. The 1 doesn't matter. I'm just going to get rid of that. X minus 4 squared plus 2. So x minus 4 squared is x minus 4 times x minus 4 plus 2. Y is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 16 plus 2. Y is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 18. All right, it's that easy. That is the easy direction, is turning vertex form into standard form. It's just multiplying it out, expanding, and combining like terms.
Give it to everyone. Okay. Going the opposite way is the difficult one. You have to do something called completing the square. Do you remember completing the square at all? That's just the question. You remember completing the square? I'm not going to add any other questions onto it, because then if I see yes or no, it's going to be confusing to me. Okay, yes I do. Okay, yes. So we have x squared. I'm going to make up a different one. We're going to say x squared plus 10x plus, I don't know, 2. Okay? So in order to complete the square, you have to figure out what third term you'd want to add right there, and then the plus 2 is right here, to make this a square binomial. I'm sorry, the trinomial would be square, so you could take the square root of the trinomial. A square trinomial, okay? So you take the middle number, you divide by 2, which gives you 5, and then you square it, which brings you up to 25 right here. So you need to add 25 in order for this to be a square trinomial. But you can't just add 25 and call it a day. You can't add it to the other side. We want to keep the other side as just y. So it's not like we can add 25 over here. What we have to do is subtract 25 on this side as well. Boss Dad, thank you for the follow. Yay! Okay, now that we've got this thing to be a square trinomial, we could wrap it up by factoring it. So this is going to be x plus 5 squared. And then we still have this plus 2 minus 25 situation. So we have to just combine like terms there and get minus 23. So now we're looking at this thing. Our h is going to be negative 5, and our y is going to be negative 23. And that is going to be your vertex. So you have to get there by completing the square. Rapix, what do you think about that? How are you writing backward? How does your board work? Oh, kind of personal. No, it's not personal. It's very impersonal. We're writing normally. Our software flips the footage so that you can see it. If you were here in this room watching us, everything would look backwards. Everything. And it would drive you insane. You would lose your mind. But luckily, we flip it for you. Good, Rapix. Okay, so official's car. Which one? Hey, here in the moment. You're here in the moment. Great. Official's car, why it's that. Okay. We're talking 36. Okay. We'll term square and then add to both sides. Yes, and if you can't add it to both sides, you have to subtract it from the side that you just added it to. You know, if you have like, x plus 7 is equal to 3x plus 9. I could add whatever I wanted. Normally you think about like adding something to both sides, or like maybe I would subtract 7 from both sides. What you could do if you wanted to is just focus on one side and say, I'm going to add 7 and then subtract 7. Because that undoes itself, you're not actually doing anything to that side. So you're not really changing it. So you don't have to do anything to the other side. That's what has to happen over here, because we want to still keep y on the left side by itself. So we can't add our 25 over here. We would just have to add it and subtract it at the same time. So you can see that this stuff here, this plus 2 minus 25, ends up being our k right over there. What we're trying to figure out is how to factor this guy up into a nice little x parenthetical expression, and that'll give us what our h value is. When did you start streaming? Tonight or in general? Tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In general, about a year ago. About a year ago. Okay. Okay, hey, car, official's car, are you still here? Because we can talk through your question, and I think it's going to be a fun one. Okay.
I can do that one if you'd like. I glanced at it.
You want to do this one?
Yeah.
How to find a quadratic. Oh, I think official's got one particular question, which is why is it only
ax squared and not all the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. You want me to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
If official Scar is still here.
Official Scar, are you still here? Official
Scar. Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay, so this last part is, so you want to fill out this equation, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, because this is, we have three missing variables, right? You want the y and the x to be there when you're building this equation normally, but to solve for these other constants, and in this case at the moment, variables, to solve for a, b, and c, you need three different points. And we know that from the problem says basically, okay, we're starting at rest, so at time 0, we haven't gone anywhere, right? So that means we know a point is going to be 0, 0. You can make the assumption that your y-intercept will then be 0, right? Because that's a y-intercept and an x-intercept at the same time. So when x and y are 0, you have 0 equals, this all becomes 0, that all becomes 0, plus c, so your c value would be 0. So that means you can get rid of the c. I'm not sure why you would be able to get rid of the other thing, but basically you can figure that out relatively quickly. Or you can do it this, I think maybe this is the way. You can look at it as vertex form, like that. So you know k is 0, and then you know that your starting point for x is going to be 0, so then you just get ax, I'm sorry, that should have been squared, so you get y equals ax squared. I think that's where it comes from. Fish hatcheries. Fitch. I felt like I cursed there, but I didn't, which is ideal.
So wait, does it have its vertex at 0, 0?
Well, if you're saying like sorry, the vertex is not 0, 0. That's a good, but did I say that? I shouldn't have said that. If I said the vertex is 0, 0, that's not true. But what I was saying is you can get rid of this because your intercept is 0, and then this would be 0 because you're not.
Wait, yeah. Now,
starting at rest.
Do we know that it's only going to be ax squared and not with a b value? Have we proven that b is 0?
No, but you can probably solve that really quickly if you can come up with two.
It's going to be half of that. Yeah, the b value is going to go away.
Yeah. But that's from plugging in, I assume.
But
right?
but the official Scar wants to see how we'd solve it.
Okay. We need to come up with other things.
Just double them.
Okay.
All right, so one of the points we have is at 1 second, it's traveled 5 meters. So I didn't double it. We're not going to use the same exact numbers because we can't, but we're going to use similar numbers. So that means that one of the points you have is 1, 5. They also tell us that at 2 seconds, it's gone, 20? So, yeah, 2 seconds it's gone 20 meters. So these are two other points that are on this line, okay? Levi showed you that our c value will be 0. So we have this equation, ax squared plus bx. Plus 0, I'm not even going to write it. All right, if these points are on that line, we can plug them in. And they'll work. That's kind of the hallmark of a point being on a line in the first place. So our x is 1, our y is 5. When I solve this, or just simplify it, I get a plus b is equal to 5. Can't go anywhere from there. Great, I'm going to just pause. I'm going to do the same exact thing with 2 and 20. So I'm going to get 20 is equal to a times x squared plus b times x. 20 is equal to 4a plus 2b. I'm going to divide it all by 2. Why not? 10 is equal to 2a plus b. So now we've got two different equations with a and b in them, which means we have a system, which means we can actually solve for a and b. So if I solve this thing for b, b is going to be equal to 5 minus a. I'm going to put that into this equation. Substitution is what I'm doing right now. So 10 is equal to 2a plus b, which is now going to be 5 minus a. 10 is equal to 2a plus 5 minus a. 10 is equal to a plus 5. Therefore, get down to the bottom here, a is equal to 5. And once I have that a is equal to 5, I can solve for b. b is equal to 5 minus a, which would be equal to 5 minus 5, which is 0. Therefore, our equation ends up being y is equal to 5x squared, and that's it.
and then you could plug in your own number. So, you know, if we're trying to find where it's going to be when our time value is 3, you'd say y is equal to 5 times 3 squared, which is y is equal to 5 times 9, which is 45. So you put in the points that you know, and you create a system of equations to solve for your missing coefficients.
Okay, let's say you have boxes. There's box X, there's box Y, and there's box Z. In box X, you need to put in something. You're putting in things in the boxes, sure. And the first box you have to have the things that are less than 7 pounds. Here you have to be between 7 and 12. Here you have to be between or more than 7 pounds. Whatever these things are. Let's say that you have 6 things here and 10 things here and 7 things here. What could be the median? Well, if you're finding median, this is basically you have a bunch of things here. We don't know what they are, right? But to find the median, we know that we're basically, you know, median is you have all these numbers here and then you cross off from each end, right? So as you do that, you're getting to wherever your median might be. That's what we're going to do in this case. But we don't even know the values, and it doesn't really matter that much because as we're crossing things off, we know that by the time we cross off all 6 of these, we're going to have 1 left here. And then when we cross off 1 of these, we're going to have 9 left here. We're going to have a bunch of, there are going to be 9 things in this box. And then from there, we can figure out, okay, well, whatever that number would be somewhere in this 7 to 12 pound range. Does this parallel type of problem help you figure out what you didn't understand there, Rapix? Lord of Misbehavior, what's the for? Ugh.
Don't say the person's name.
Oh, that's that person?
Yeah.
Oops.
Don't apologize to me.
Okay. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't get it. Darn it.
Why didn't you use the actual example then?
Because that's from the official test.
Do you know that?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm very sorry. I didn't know it was you.
We're very curious though, because again, your username is not your real name.
I'll try to remember that. I'm not supposed to say your name. Okay, Rapix. So for this problem, we're basically told, okay, we have a bunch of hams that we are putting in these boxes X, Y, and Z. Here are where we have to put them based on the weight of the hams. I don't know why. I don't know how much ham is supposed to weigh. And we're told, okay, we put 6 hams in this box, 10 hams in this box, and 7 hams in this box, according to their weights that are in pink. And then we're being asked, okay, which of the following, what could be the median of the weight of the hams? So if the answer choices are 5 pounds, or 6 pounds, or 10 pounds, or 13 pounds. If these are your 4 possible answers, well, with the median thing, we're basically crossing things off, right? When you know how to find the median when you have a list of all of your numbers and you're crossing off from both ends. You've asked us that before here in the moment, and we haven't looked into it. We should look into that. So as we're crossing things off from both sides, we're doing that. We don't actually know the numbers, but it doesn't really matter because we're guessing. Because we know that we're crossing off from both of these ends here. So, and when we cross off 6 from this side, we cross off, hello, precious Terrell, how are you? Radical and rational expressions. Yeah, let's do that. Rational. We will get to those. Probably next. So we're crossing off things. Oh, Heartful, thank you for the follow. Do you have questions? Precious Terrell, you have a friend. You both have friends. That's good, or a friend. So we cross off from both sides here with the 6s, and then we have 1 left on this box We cross off that with the smallest one in box Y, and now we know as we cross off, we're going to find something in the middle of box Y. From knowing that, we can say, well, since we're in box Y, we can't have anything less than 7 pounds. The answer has to be between 7 and 12 pounds. This is the only answer between 7 and 12 pounds, so 10 pounds must be the right answer. These are all options, but these options are out because they're not in the... You get it. Awesome. So this is a thing that they do on the test. This is not the only example. They will also do this type of thing. So everybody pay attention if you're taking the SAT, because this is a very common mistake that I have. Am I left or right brain? If you have, you have scores here, and then you have frequency here. This is super important. If these are like test scores or something, and we say that there's a test score of 100, there's a test score of 97, there's a test score of 91, there's a test score of 82, there's a test score of 85. That's not the right order. I shouldn't do it that way. Let's make this 80. And one person got a 100, 3 got 97s, 8 got 91s, 7 got 82s, and 2 got 80s. Now, when we're asked for the median here, I don't know. It depends on my mood, to be totally honest. I like being creative. I like being logical. I like it when they go together, like when I teach. Because I get to be stupid with Brady, but I also get to teach his stuff. I hate that. Hartwell, can you sign... You can sign up for multiple SAT dates at the same time. Yeah, you can do that. I don't see the draw in that. You could just sign up later for other ones. Yeah, that noise was awful. That was Brady being awful. So when you're asked for the median of something like this, when you're given a table, do not, you're crossing off from both sides. You're not crossing off 80 and 100, 82 and 97, and then 91. You're not doing that. Let me just make sure this is actually going to do a better job of what I want it to do. Let's say that's a 1, that's a 2, that's a 4, that's a 5, and that's a 7. Okay. So these are the average, these are the scores. There are a certain number of people in the class. You're not crossing off 100, 80, 97, 82, and getting 91 as your median. That is not how you approach that. The way you approach this is you say, well, I'm crossing off, I did this wrong. I'm going to have to do blue. You're going to cross off the 1 and get 4 left over, because this is the actual number of things you have. These are just the values of those things. So you know you have to cross off from the top and the bottom here. But you're crossing off these numbers because these are the frequencies. If you were to write this out, you would get 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, and then 82, 82, and so on. So you're crossing off that way. That's why I'm crossing off the frequency. This is extremely important because they will do this on the test. They're going to do it. Tomorrow's test will have this type of situation. Now, it might be like this, where they have boxes or something, or it might be in a table, or it could even be in a bar graph. Pay attention when they give you frequency of things, not just what the things are themselves, because you have to cross off the frequencies to figure out what the median is. Let's keep going. Let's cross off the 2 here, and 2 more of these, so now we have 2 left in the 80s. And now we're going to cross off all 2 of these, and then 2 of these, so we have 2 left. And then we'll cross off these 2, and then 2 of these, so we have 5. So we know we have to have a median that is 82. Does that make sense? If anybody is confused by that, I can keep talking about it, but it's super important because it's just a very specific thing the SAT has begun to like doing on their tests. Bird, you have a question. The question is, are you left or right brain? Duh.
Well, it should be said that left and right brained is kind of an outdated convention. People still know what it means, but like the actual notion that that is what the hemispheres of your brain like concentrate on, they've sort of disproved that to a certain extent.
Yeah, however, you can just kind of turn and it stops being your left brain.
You are insane. I didn't feel that. I'm sorry. I just kind of caught up with that.
You can do something similar to this.
I write with my left hand, but I throw and I do other things with my right hand. So I think there's mixed if we're still going to use the left brain, right brain convention. But I do like using both, just like Levi also said. Corpus callosum, that's right. Chop that thing. You don't want it. You don't want it. It's fun, when you can look at things and not be able to name them, which is stuff that they've done with split brain patients, which is really interesting. They can see something, but if it's the wrong side of their brain that's processing it, the one that does not have the language center, they cannot say the word that object is. Oh,
Okay, so we need to do radicals and rational functions.
Got it. Okay.
That was, who was that? That was Precious Terrell, I think.
Oh.
Yes. Precious Terrell, are you still here? We can do we can talk about radicals and rational expressions. Can you say hi again, just so we know?
We miss you.
We miss you terribly.
We're nervous. We're worried about you.
We're nerdish. Sponsored by nervousness.
We convert your... Oh, very good. Precious Terrell. Precious Terrell.
No, I don't want that.
No, I don't want that. Stop it. I don't want that. I don't want that, Precious Terrell. Okay.
The worst.
No, I'm not. I am the best. Precious Terrell, let's talk. Let's talk big time. Okay, so rational functions. One of my favorites. Let's give us one here. Y is equal to 4x plus 3 over x plus 7. X plus 7. X plus 7. Yeah, start with that. Okay. Ooh. A lot of things can happen with a rational function. Now, are you interested in graphing them? Graphing rational functions and graphing radical and rational, or how to solve them? Because we can talk about either or both, but graphing rational functions is pretty fun function. What?
Oh, that's really funny.
That is very funny. That is very funny.
Oh my gosh.
How to solve them. Got it.
Hey,
okay.
Brett, can you do this question?
That's upside down, Levi. Oh my gosh. Okay, how to solve them. Great question. Let's say we had something like this. Okay. This course you can't show it. Next, please. Levi.
What's that?
Look at Side Agnes's question on the chat. I don't know what it refers to. The Precious Terrell. What you need to do is you need to eventually get rid of the denominator by multiplying both sides by that denominator. So x plus 7, the thing we're trying to solve for is in the denominator. That's a bad place for it to be. You need to multiply both sides by x plus 7 in order to get rid of it. Is this live? Levi, this isn't live, right?
No, we're not live. We're
Yeah.
actually very dead.
We did this about a week ago.
Yep. This just happened. Quantum computing MIT.
So now we are going to distribute.
I feel like you've been in the chat before. Have you been in the chat before?
Subtract 3x.
No, don't subtract 3x.
I have to.
Add negative 3x.
Oh,
Did you like that, or did it just annoy you?
I thought it was fine.
Okay.
Minus 3 is equal to 18. Okay. The point is, you need to get... Levi can answer my question. Here in the Moment's got a question for you.
If I'm taking the December ACT, how many minutes should I study each day leading up to it? Depends on what other stuff you got going on. But that's an annoying answer, so I will give you a less annoying one. I would say daily is super helpful, just so that it's always there. You know, you're always improving in some aspect of it. You don't have to do it every single day. I would say ideally every other day at the very least. Always be doing something. You don't have to do something from every section every day. That's not necessary. But you want to keep talking?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like with this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so back to another kind of rational situation. We want to multiply by x plus 9, which we can actually just go ahead and do. But remember, you have to multiply everything in the equation on both sides by x plus 9. So that goes for this 7 as well. So this whole thing by x plus 9, because that's the denominator, we got to get rid of that. And then this whole thing by x plus 9. So this is going to cancel out with this in the bottom, but it's not going to cancel out with anything over here, which means we have to multiply this by the negative 7. So this is just going to become plain old 43, but we're going to be subtracting 7 times that. Over here, denominators will cancel out, giving us x plus 3. We have 43 minus 7x minus 63 is equal to x plus 3, so on and so forth. You'll see what's going on. Cool. Other rational situations, sometimes you're going to want to factor. So if you see something like this, maybe x squared plus 5x plus 6 over blah, 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 blah. We're going to say 5 is equal to that. Over as x squared plus 7x plus 12. Maybe not 5. Maybe the question is just simplifying. You want to factor as much as you can. So up here, you're going to get x plus 2 times x plus 3. And on the bottom, you're going to get x plus 3 times x plus 4. So it turns out there was a hidden x plus 3 on the top and bottom. They're going to cancel out, leaving you with a hole on the graph. Don't forget that. But it's going to be x plus 2 over x plus 4. So there's going to be a simplification there. I'm asking silly question in the math section.
Laser 2435. Yes. It's not about going back and checking your answers. It is about being very, very, very methodical when you go through them. So my guess is if you're consistently making silly mistakes, you're practicing making silly mistakes. You have to practice being perfect. So if you're making the silly mistakes on the early problems, there's no point in practicing it on the harder problems. Just take as long as you need and get your accuracy perfect. So you need to practice being perfect without making silly mistakes before continuing to practice, if that makes sense. So do one question. Make sure you get it right. Once you've done one question, then do a set of 2 questions. Make sure you get those 2 right, and keep going up that way. So it sounds like you are fine with math or whatever you're working on, math, yeah. But you have to practice perfection before you can get to being perfect over a whole entire section. Does that make sense? It's not a nice, easy thing, but that is how you should approach it.
Precious Terrell, any other part of rational functions, any situation you want me to go over, or can I start talking about radical functions? Yeah, apparently you look like quantum computing MIT.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I've always thought that.
Yeah. I want to slap you right in your slap zone.
What's standard deviation? I get confused with range. You want to put it up there?
Yeah.
Standard deviation. Lul. That was funny.
I also find that I look just like me, which makes me a little uncomfortable. So we have that in common.
Yeah, that's got to be kind of unnerving for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Precious. You can move on. Okay, cool.
Brady, you have to move on.
I don't want to. I don't like change. I like when it's just dollar bills.
There was some coffee shop I saw recently where they had a bucket for change and it said "Don't like change." I thought that was nice.
That is nice. You really love when people kind of go the extra mile and make their institutions kind of friendly and fun and flirty.
I normally don't recommend books for the ACT because books can't write things and they do very poorly because they kind of just sit in their seats and don't do anything.
That's very true.
So I don't know if that helps. Actually, I do. It doesn't. I would say official tests should be where you practice and check how you're doing and like what is my score gonna look like. Practice tests are good for that. Here in the moment, what I said before this, so stupid it's not even worth thinking about. So when you're taking practice sections, you need to practice on official tests because they are accurate with regards to what your score would actually be. Whereas things like Kaplan, Princeton Review, anybody who puts out their own material who's not the College Board or ACT.org, whoever that is, it's not going to be as accurate for scores. Great for practice, just not for scores. So do official tests for practice for testing yourself. And then once you ID your problem areas and know what question types you get wrong most often, then when you're practicing, you can do Kaplan, you can do Princeton Review. It doesn't really matter. You can do UWorld. You can do other practice tests. There are tons of them online. I would just recommend the more recent practice tests are the ones you use for seeing where you're at. And then you rinse with, I messed up this word a little bit. I didn't mean to. I just didn't want to erase it.
I'm going to slap you in your problem area.
Yeah?
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Here's a radical function, okay? Okay, so I have no idea what SATs are. Fantastic. You got to get rid of the radical. You have to. The only reason, or the only way to free the x is to square it. Square, because right now it's under a radical. It's under a square root. But you don't want to square it yet, because you cannot selectively square just this thing. The only thing you can do is you can square an entire side. So you don't want to square yet. You want to get the radical by itself, which means first get rid of 7 by adding it to both sides. Levi, keep talking.
Yes. Here in the moment, you should be focusing on your problem areas, not your strengths. If your strengths are there, great. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're better at math, you shouldn't study math at all, because that's what I did, and I ended up doing much worse on the math section. So, but specific things, if you're great at two-part questions on the SAT, or you're great at, this science passage on the ACT, or this science passage type, yeah, there's no need to focus on it. You should, keep it fresh, but you don't need to work there. You need to work on things that really give you trouble. And
like
if
your relationship with your parents.
Focus on it. Just really narrow in. What is it? Hone.
Laser.
5, 3, 2.
Laser.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you like that?
All of it's useless. You're doing radical still?
Yeah, I just started doing some radicals.
Okay.
Just trying to do a little some radicals.
Okay, great, dude.
Okay.
I'm gonna get started on standard deviation stuff.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Precious, same question. Anything in particular you would like a situation that you would like us to show? Plus 6x. Oh, this is actually a good situation. When you've got x also over here. That is an interesting situation. Okay, well, here's what you're going to want to do. So let's first get rid of this square root. But remember, you have to square both sides, so we don't want to square yet. We're going to have to move the 6x to the other side first. So you'd think, let's keep the x's together. Not exactly, because what you have to do is square something. You don't want to have the 6x around when you do that, because it's just going to get very hairy very quickly. Move it over. Now square both sides, okay? We're not close to the end. It's not going to happen yet. We're just taking it one piece at a time. Square roots cancel out, leaving you with x cubed. We have to FOIL this, all right? 400 minus, that's going to be 240x plus 36x squared. This is not really going to be fun to solve. You're going to have to use your calculator or something, but this is a big polynomial, and if you move everything to the same side, you're going to get x cubed minus 36x squared plus 240x minus 400 is equal to 0. 40. They both have 4, and then they both have 40s. Yeah, and I don't think this is going to be factorable. But the point is, you've got to get rid of your radicals, and you need to get them alone first, and then you do your radical. You square or you cube or whatever the opposite of your radical is. Quantum computing coming in for the rescue.
Woo!
Thank you.
If you had to answer that question, you would have been cooked.
I would have been absolutely cooked.
Yeah.
Fried, put some sizzle on it.
All right, so standard deviation. Who asked about standard deviation? Was it here in the moment?
No, I think it was XR. Precious, Tyrell, anything else?
You should definitely have other things. Past question. Yes, the standard deviation thing was first, so I want to go over that. So standard deviation is a measure of how far elements in set are from the mean.
How spread out your data is.
Yeah. Zovint, hello.
Hello, Zovint. Is there a specific song you'd like me to ruin with my voice? What do we got here?
It's a follow.
Yay! Laser! 24/35. 24 days a week, 35 days a year.
We should have a visual for when people unfollow us, just to see how often that happens during stream.
Uh-oh. Quantum computing!
Not to be left out, quantum computing in
Are
a close
you
second place.
Actually, a quantum computer. You don't need to say it, but you can just, nod.
Beep twice. Okay, so
Is it twice though, or is it maybe 3
if
times?
your set is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your average, of course, will be a 3. If you have the set 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, your average, please hold your breath because it'll be very short, will be 3. Which of these has a larger standard deviation? Standard deviation, is it on the ACT?
Knowing how it works, I mean, knowing the general concept is, but you don't need to understand how to calculate it.
Yeah.
Just what would make something have a bigger standard deviation and what would make something have a smaller standard deviation. That's what you need to know.
Yeah, basically, how to find standard deviation is it is the square root of the sums of the squares of the differences between every element in the set and then average.
Well done.
So don't worry about what I just said. You need to worry about this stuff. So these have the same average. They have the same number of terms in the set. Standard deviation is a single number that represents how far things are spread out from the mean. So this actually has a standard deviation of 0. You don't need to know that, but clearly it doesn't deviate at all, right? This one deviates a little bit because the numbers are a little bit away. Now, if you had the number negative 50, and then you also had the number 56, and though you had a bunch of those each, and your average ends up being 3. Okay, the average is the same, but these numbers are way far away from 3, so your standard deviation is obviously much bigger than in either of those. Does that explanation of standard deviation make everybody happy? Very good. I'm glad you're happy, quantum computing. Here in the Moment's happy, Rapix is happy. Good. That's basically it. They might give you something like a bar graph, and they say, okay, which of these has a larger standard deviation? Here's this one, and then here's this one. The larger standard deviation would be here, because the average of these would probably be roughly in the middle because they're both symmetrical. This one, they're more clumped towards the middle, so towards the mean. This one, they're further away, so this would be larger standard deviation. High quality. You're a cool channel, quantum computing. Thank you. If you could inhale us, get very sick with whatever we do, and then cough us on people and spread us like the plague, that would be sick, for lack of a better word or anything useful to say. So do that, because then we can help more people, because that is the goal. Oh, stop it, you. Oh, Brady. Nice. Oh, yes. Okay, here in a moment. Thank you for reminding me. 10 questions a day. It's fine, but that doesn't necessarily deal with what your issues could still be. So if you're doing 10 science questions a day, you're doing 1.5 passages from science. So maybe you're not getting a great sense of what passages screw you up. So you should definitely start out with at least a full test to figure out, okay, this type of passage gives me trouble on the reading section. Like I hate the prose, story, fiction passage, but the science passage is super easy. So I'll do a science passage once, science on the reading section, or social studies on the reading section. That type of passage is easy for me. I don't need to practice them too much, just once in a while as a refresher. Any type of passage that you recognize is tough for you, you got to do more of those types of passages. So you need to find if your problem area is a very specific type of question or a type of passage. That's what you need to be identifying. Prose and humanities I struggle with. Jerklump, hello. Heartful, hello. Thank you for the follow earlier. Looney Louie, how old are you? Are you in college right now? No, we're not in college. We are out of college. We are in this dark room right here. We graduated from college decades ago.
Decades ago!
Yeah. I wish you guys could see Brady's eyes most of the time. They're terrifying orbs. Terrifying orbs.
What do you see in them?
3 little lights that kind of circle each other.
Oh, like those old-fashioned film cameras.
It's just like those.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
the triple guns in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should give them a taste of the triple gun, is what Captain Davy... No, it's not Davy Jones. Is it Davy Jones?
No, Captain Davy Jones Locker. Yeah.
Whatever the
Here in the
squid.
moment, you want to hear Brady's bits eating noise. You know what you got to do if you want to hear Brady's bits eating noise. Could we do the elephant question? Yes. Okay. So if we do something like that one, we say that we have a baby rapid X. Okay. So a baby rapid X starts at born at 80 pounds. Okay? So rapid X, no, let's say, no, rapid X is a person, so a person would be born at, say, 8 pounds, right? I would just think maybe babies are born at 8 ounces, but that's ridiculous. So, baby rapid X is born at 8 pounds. Someone take one for the team and donate bits. Here in the moment, I think that's gotta be you. Brady, you remind quantum computing of Josh Brenner. Brenner? Brenner?
You know what?
Okay. So now we're going to either every day, so daily,
He's on Silicon Valley.
grow
He's big head.
1 pound. Now this is an extremely fast growing baby, but that's why your name is Rapid X. You could daily grow 1 pound, or, sorry, these are pounds, these are units, it's not money, okay, you're UK people.
Levi, can you put arithmetic sequence up on the cue?
Or you can daily, yes, grow 2 pounds. So, what is the inequality that demonstrates after, let's say, oh, sorry about the squeak, 1 week? Because this will help you. Okay, so to find the inequality that gives us the range of weights at the end of this week, we're going to have to find the minimum and the maximum, and then we'll just build the inequality from that. So it's relatively straightforward.
Relatively.
Brady! Thought you might have forgotten. Okay. So we're going to start at 8 pounds. Let's say that that Rapid X grows the minimum every day. So that means we're going to grow 1 pound every day, so that would be 7 days in that week, right? So that will be the low end, and then we have the weight. So so the weight is going to be, I guess, less than or equal to. I don't know what if it's less than or equal to or just less than. It doesn't matter. Brady's over here. He's making annoying noises. Durander, hello. How are you? Sweet, sweet Durander. Okay, so we'll get whatever that is, and now we have our weight in the middle. You could use a variable here. It doesn't really matter. And then the high end will be growing 2 pounds every day. So that would be 8 plus 2 times 7. And then from there, you just figure out what these numbers are. So obviously, this is not the right answer to whatever question you want. But 15 is less than or equal to W, which is less than or equal to 22. Make sense? Happy? Everybody happy? Imagine I caught that. Imagine how amazing that would be. Okay, cool. That's how you do that type of question. That type of word problem is weird, but you need to get good at going from the word problems to the. I think maybe was this you, Rapix, who was asking about how to go from word problems and frame them into mathematics. This is how you do it. Like if they ask you for, okay, they grow at the least this and the most this, you're going to be dealing with inequalities. Also, the answer choices would be in inequality form. You can do the least thing and push things as far as you can to the least, push things as far as you can to the most. Are you a native English speaker? Because that can definitely cause some issues. You are. Okay, that's cool. That's very good. It's very good. Very, very good. So always break it down into what is the, try to draw pictures if possible. This obviously doesn't lend itself to that unless you draw like a larger and a smaller picture of yourself, which would be fine if that's what you're into. But draw pictures, do anything to help you visualize what's going on in the question. I'm super hungry, Brady. I did not have dinner.
Why not?
Because I was super hungry.
Oh, you're that hungry, huh?
Yeah.
You're on like a dangerous downward spiral to just starving.
I can see how you would think that.
Well, if you're so hungry that you can't eat, then how are you going to remedy the situation?
I don't know. Hey, do we have other questions? Have I not answered somebody's question? Or have you not asked me a question that you should have? Actually, I know the answer to that, and the answer is yes. You have not asked me all the questions that you should and could, so you should. Hey, Brady. Brady. Knock, knock.
Arithmetic sequences.
Oh, no, you're going to do that.
Yeah, you're supposed to write on the board.
Okay.
You ask if Jerklump is still there?
Jerklump, are you still here? Is he the one who asked?
Yeah.
Jerklump, if you're here, we can do arithmetic sequences. If you're not, we can, but we won't.
All right.
Jerklump is here. Brady, let's tell a joke for everybody.
All right.
Don't mess it up.
All right.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
2.
To who?
To whom?
I always mess that up.
Let's
All
mess
right.
it up.
Here's a going to. Ready? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Oh, hold on.
Oh, hold on, who?
Hold
Hold on, Caulfield.
Oh, yeah, he's holding on to childhood. Now, here's the question. I meant to say it only works if you start it. Just pretend to be a normal person for me for a second.
Yeah, sure.
You don't know me and you trust me,
Of course.
which is I've ruined that years ago.
Yes.
But pretend that you are.
You didn't ruin my trust in you years ago.
It only works
this year.
It only works if you start it.
Okay. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
How did I get here?
Well, see, then now you're
like-
doing a Levi thing.
Well, but like,
Pretend that you're just normal. And you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
I don't know, but you told me to start.
You're right, and I put you in this uncomfortable place. That's
And
the
now
fun
the
of it.
trust is ruined.
Yes, exactly. It's more fun
Understood.
for me. All right, jerk lump. Let's talk about arithmetic sequences. Derive the formula for it. As in, derive the formula for finding a specific term. Is that what you are looking for? Arithmetic sequence. This is part of Stanford admissions. Very good. All right, jerk lump. All right, so here's what you'd want to do. Arithmetic sequences, we're adding some number every single time. That's called the common difference. All right, if I had something like this. Common difference every single time is plus 4. So I'm going to say that D is equal to 4. Okay? And I'm going to say that this is our first term. So that's a sub 1. So if you want to find some term a sub n, well, before we even do that, all right, so that's the first term. Second, third, fourth, fifth term. That's the fifth term. What I want is the 28th term. We're going to figure it out first, and then we'll generalize it to a formula. Can you do geometric sequences? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Here in the moment, I don't know why you're saying no, we can't. Because the answer to that is yes, we can. Okay. If we're going to get to the 28th term, we're going to start at the first term, and we're going to add 4. But how many times? Will it be 28 times because it's the 28th term? No. You only add once to get to the second box. You only add 2 times to get to the third box. So because you're starting at 1, not 0, you're starting at 1, you're going to be taking 27 jumps to get to the 28th term. You'll be adding 4 27 times. So we're going to start with 17. We're going to add 4 27 times in order to get to our answer. It's going to be 17 plus, what is that, 80 plus 28, which is 108. Which is going to be 118, 125. Okay, so now to generalize it. This is our A1. If you have your first term, it's helpful. You add your common difference multiplied by n minus 1. Okay? N minus 1. N is the number you're trying to find. N is the term you're trying to find. So in this case, it was the 28th term we were trying to find. So I put 28 in for n. Minus 1 got us 27. That's where this formula came from. Okay? That is a friendly way of doing it. That's starting from A1. All right? You might be starting from, maybe this was the 16th term. And we're trying to find the 28th term. In that case, we're going to be still making our jumps, but just not as many. We're going to be making, let's see, 28 minus 16 is 12. 12 jumps. So I would start with A sub 16, and I would add D 12 times. So I guess in this case it'd be 28 minus 16. A sub 16 plus 12D. So I guess if you're not starting at the first term, maybe it'd be more like, resubscribe noises? Oh, are we gonna resubscribe right now? I hope we are. And you could say maybe A sub j is equal to, no, sorry, you're still trying to find A sub n. All of these let you find A sub n. So maybe A sub n is equal to A sub j plus d times n minus j. So that would be if you didn't have the first value in the list, but just some random value. Trying to get from the 16th to the 28th term, something like that. Who is that? Jerklump. How's that? Does that make sense? Are you okay with that? Can I go on to geometric sequences? Or is there something here that I should talk about, which I'm perfectly fine doing? Perfectly fine.
He says yes.
Perfectly fine.
Okay, so real quick, Rapix, this is how you do this type of question. They gave you 2 points that are on this linear function. So we build the linear function equation, which is this, and then we plug in. We don't know what a and b are, so we're basically creating a system of equations where we solve for a and b rather than x and y. So you're going to make the 2 equations using these values. So your y value here is 9, so you're going to get 9 equals a times x. X is 3, so we have 3a plus b. Then we do the same thing here. We get -1 equals -2a plus b. And then you have this system of equations that you can solve. Do you want me to solve this, or does this make sense to you? Do you think you can solve for a and b here in the system, and then you'll be fine? Because then whatever those are, you plug them in for a and b here, and you get y equals, I'll tell you what it equals so you know what the correct answer is to find, 2x plus 3. You get it. Cool. There you go. The SAT is a lot about building equations. Yes, it is very simple. Honestly, most of the math on the SAT and ACT is relatively straightforward. You just don't know what you're supposed to be doing, right? Once you know that this is how you approach this question, it's very simple. But it's just, it's a lot of math from the last 6 years of your life probably, and that's a lot of stuff to remember and to know when to bring it to the forefront of your mind.
You really know how to make them feel better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As long as they never find out I'm lying about everything, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, that would be awful.
It would be very bad for them.
Figured out that everything you say.
The content of what I say, the actual.
This is honestly the opposite.
All of this is wrong. They shouldn't do this,
it.
and they shouldn't feel good about themselves when I say they should.
Yeah. Right. So, I'd say you're doing great.
Can you turn the mic back on now?
Yeah. Wait. Oh no! Oh no! Okay. Geometric sequences. You notice I left your sequences up there.
Oh, yeah.
Is it helpful for me to read SAT reading passages in order to prep for the ACT? There's plenty of ACT passages, so I would say just stick with those. Okay, geometric. I mean, you'll get better at both of them from practicing for either of them for the most part. Deep State Education. Brought to you by
Breakfast.
It's what's for breakfast.
Yes.
Okay. So, a lot of fun. Everyone's having a good time. Let's see what's happening with this geometric sequence. Now, this is a fun one. We are multiplying by a common ratio of 1/2. Geometric, you're multiplying by something. Times 1/2 times 1/2. Called the common ratio. R is equal to 1/2. All right. There's the first term. Same question here. What is we're going to go with our 20th term. 20th term. And this is the first term right here. Okay? Well, we're multiplying by 1/2 over and over and over and over again. How many times, though? To get from our first term to our 20th term, that is 19 jumps. 20 minus 1, 19. So, we're starting with 60. We're multiplying by 1/2 19 times, which is what we do with an exponent. Repeated multiplication is expressed as an exponent. How to tackle these types of problems, sample percent and margin of error.
We're done, by the way, so we should answer this and then.
Okay. You're probably not going to see. Yeah, you might see it. Margin of error. Just
It's becoming more and more common. It was on the last one and the one before that.
Okay. Sample percent.
I think that's okay. So sample stuff. When you're taking a sample, you obviously want it to be more representative of the whole, right? So bigger sample size. Are you still doing that or no?
Jerklump. That's how you find your missing term. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Okay, so for samples, generally you want them to be bigger. That makes them more accurate, right? Because if there are 50 people that you want to figure out about and you only ask 2 of them, that's not as useful as if you ask 10 of them. Now, it'd be great if you could ask all 50, but maybe you don't want to. Obviously, when you scale that up to the size of the United States, it makes a lot of sense. Are SATs for getting into prestigious high school? No, they're not.
Colleges.
That's the SSAT for some specific schools in New York City.
Well, no. They're all cross country.
Oh, sorry, it's for, yeah.
SSATs are for high schools.
Yeah.
SATs are for uni, as you probably call it.
Sorry for punching your ears.
Why would you apologize if I did it?
Because we're the same person.
Oh, I forget about
Yeah.
that.
Also, the sample should be representative. So if you want to know the political leanings of people in the U.S., don't go to the Republican convention to talk to all the Republicans there, right? Because that won't be representative. That's not a political statement. I'm just saying that would be stupid to do if you actually wanted to know the answer to that question. So that's what samples are. The percent of them, let's say that you have a sample and you say, okay, so you sample 20 people. You sample 20 people and 6 like vanilla, okay, and the other 14 don't, then we say, okay, how many people would like vanilla if you had 700 people? How do we figure out how many of the 700 people like vanilla?
Rapix, what are Republicans?
It's a great question.
One of the political parties in the United States. There's the Democrats and there's the Republicans.
I feel like is Rapix one of the UK people?
Rapix is from Dubai.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
We only have 2 parties. Two parties.
Is our
control most
entire
of it.
stream non-American?
No, it can't be.
Yeah, that's impossible actually.
It's literally impossible.
Yeah, stop.
No.
Stop.
There's this math thing.
Stop.
If you have a room with 20 people in it, the chances that someone there is American, at least one person is 100%.
I'm gonna slap you right
Anywhere
in the slap
on the
zone.
planet, there's always at least one American in a room if there's 20 people in that room. Dude, don't even look at me. They've done studies, and they know that. They know that. I don't like myself right now when I talk like this. I just know that you like it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense when you say it that way. Okay, so let's say this is your sample, and then you're saying, okay, if we were to ask 700 people how many of them would like vanilla, you can set up a proportion. So you have 6 out of 20. That would equal X out of 700. This X would be the number of people who like vanilla. Okay?
I'll say.
So you have that. And then do you want to do the last part, which is margin of error?
Sure, I'll do margin of error.
Not to be confused with margin of error, which is when you miss the goal. Because...
All right. Okay, very good. So, hey.
No, just think about it.
Oh, okay. That's a cub side. Okay. Now, if the sample is larger than the error, the error is going to be smaller because you have a more representative sample. So you're probably going to be further and further. You're going to be closer and closer to what the actual number is.
Margin of error is bad. The bigger margin of error means that you might be further from the actual result.
So you might have a jar of marbles.
Why don't you have it of margarine?
No.
Okay.
Actually, not. And there's a lot of them. You do not have enough time to count all of them, okay? So let's say maybe you pull out, a number of them, an amount of them.
No,
and
number.
you get that the average of your sample is maybe, we're going to say 26% are red. But that's only of your sample. So the best guess you have for the overall population of marbles is that 26% are red, but you're probably going to be off by a little bit. So what they say is they're able to calculate how confident they are, and they say, the average is 26% with a margin of error of plus or minus 2%. So what they're saying is it is very likely that it is between 24 and 28. So you go up or down 2% from this number, and that right there is, they're very confident it's going to be somewhere in that range. So there's a whole thing with standard deviations about like how confident they're going to be. Like there's like a 68% confidence interval and a 95% confidence interval and all that stuff. They don't really need to know that, though.
They do.
No, they don't.
That's on it.
They need to know the empirical rule about all the
No,
percentages.
they need to know the normal curve. Yeah,
The normal distribution?
Yeah.
All right. No one asked about that.
that's true. So let's just
It's a whole thing.
yeah, it's all.
It's a whole thing. Okay. No guns. Ah, look at that. It worked.
Okay, we're gonna head out. But for those of you who are watching us for the first time, we stream. I'll write it down. We stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday normally, 7:30 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is when we stream normally. So we're not normally here on Fridays, but because there's an SAT tomorrow, that's why we streamed. This is when we stream.
Tell your friends.
Tell your wives, your husbands, your
Dog.
yeah, the one who got away. Reach out to one, like a really painful ex who you hate seeing and talking to, and talk to them about this.
Yeah. It'll make for a very awkward, forced conversation that you'll very quickly wish you hadn't had.
Exactly. To a wed thu, Rapid X. That's right. Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
Stop it.
Why?
Stop it.
That's what here in the moment,
Oh
bro.
my God.
I didn't say it like
I'm
that.
so done with you.
That's just
Okay.
God bless you as well.
Yes. Very good.
God bless us, all of us.
Have a lovely night. If you're studying again, come with questions. We'll answer them.
Wholesome. You're half-some. Stop it.
No, I'm gonna make you sit with that. Look at the camera.
I wanted you to stop it.
Shh, you're not allowed to talk. You have to look and think about how they feel about you.
Well,
All of those anxieties from high school, I want you to try to bring those up again.
it reminds me.
Shh, you can't talk. Don't talk. Just stay there. Look at the camera.
I felt nothing.
We're not streaming. We're still streaming. I'm just messing with. I just clicked off it.